Hello, everybody. Um, Happy Cinco de Mayo, if that is something you partake in. Um, it's still a bit early, so I'm just having some coffee today while I sit. I hope all of you are doing spiffy and well. Um, I actually have no idea if this is going. Let me know in the comments if everything's cool or if something's funky. Um, I'm also sitting here waiting for our water delivery. Um, for those of you who don't know, we live off grid out in the desert. And some of you are like, off grid, you're on the internet, you stupid fuck. And that's with a cell phone router. Um, but yeah, so we don't have water here. So, oh, sweet, thanks. Um, we have a 2,500 gallon tank, and um, this dude comes by and fills it up from the road. And we were almost out of water on Friday, and he was supposed to show up yesterday. And he had problems with the truck and couldn't get out here. So fingers crossed he shows up today. We've been really eking by. You never know how much you need water until you run out of it. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. How's everybody doing? There's a lag on here that I think is like 30 to 45 seconds. So, I'll try not to dead air a bunch of it when I ask questions. But I want to give a big thank you to Aaron, who yesterday put us over $800 on the end of everything Indiegogo. Thank you so much. That's freaking awesome. And I actually don't know how this even works. Like, how me asking for help does it. But I want to try to get to 1,000 today. And in a little bit, I'm going to explain what's going to happen if we don't make it to the goal that I initially was trying to get at. So I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. Let's see. That would have been 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, fuck. So 16 years ago, on this day, I was in this band called Creeperson, and we were playing a Cinco de Mayo show. And that first year of Creeperson was like, every show was like a fucking circus. And we were playing this show, I think we were in Newport Beach. Can't remember the name of the place, but we were playing down there. And the bartender was someone, I didn't know this until we were there, but was someone who I trained to become a bartender. So she was giving me free drinks all night. And when you're the last band or second to last band of a night, and you got free drinks coming the whole time, and you're me, that's dangerous. And so we were playing, and I kept ordering drinks from the stage, and she would make it, and someone would run it up to me. So after every song, like, I was getting a new drink. Some very, I would say, illegal things happened, and it was a really good show. We recorded it, actually. I have a recording of it somewhere. What the fuck is that? Sorry guys, I don't know what that is. I can't tell if it's a grasshopper running with a giant ant on it, or if it's a giant ant running around with a grasshopper. And now there's a big lizard, like an iguana, that's gonna get it, and I have my dog here, and I don't want my dog to get the lizard, because it's an iguana, and I love the desert iguanas. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I'm sorry, this is horrible content, because you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh shit, was that a tarantula wasp? Oh no, oh no. Fred, stop. Oh my god. Fred! Stop it! Fred. I'm so sorry. This is like the shittiest video you guys have ever seen. Okay, it was like it was like a baby tarantula wasp. Fred? No. Well, the iguana got the hookworm, but the baby tarantula wasp, I think, stung. Oh wait, no, there it is. Shit. This is a nightmare, because Fred's gonna lose his fucking mind. Tarantula wasps have the, I think, second most painful sting, and they paralyze. They basically go into tarantula holes. Yeah, no shit, right? Jack Kerouac. Oh shit, where did it go? Anyway, they go into tarantula holes and paralyze the tarantula and lay eggs inside of it. And the tarantula is alive. And then when the eggs hatch, the wasps eat the tarantula from the inside out, kind of thing. And but the desert iguana, they're white with like, look it up, they're white with black rings around their tail and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna put Fred in, so give me 2 seconds here, because he's being a nightmare. Come on. Oh, well, there we go. And that's Fred losing his mind. So anyway, when the iguana grabbed the hookworm, the wasp flew off and then landed on the iguana's back and stung him a couple times. So now the iguana is over there not moving, and Fred wants to eat it. Oh. And I don't want Fred eating the iguanas. He could eat all the rats that tear the car up he wants, but he has to stay away from the iguanas and the bearded dragons. Okay, so anyway. Don't let Fred out. There's a tarantula wasp and an iguana. Yeah. Crazy. So anyway, so as that night went on, back to my horrible Cinco de Mayo story. We went afterwards to Del Taco, and I was completely fucked. And my go-to every time I've had a bit too much to drink, either that night or the next day, is to get a couple quesadillas from Del Taco, and that clears you right up. I don't know if it's just because of how greasy they are or what, but that soaks everything up and you're solid. And I can't remember why, but I just remember me getting into a shouting match with the lady at the drive-thru. I wasn't driving, obviously. And then I don't really remember a whole lot. And then I was in a gutter. And then the girl I was with at the time was pissed off at me. Pendra, hello! I haven't seen you in forever. Well, the girl I was with was mad, and I think she pushed me or I fell, but I fell along a stucco wall and just scraped the shit out of the right side of my body, face and everything. And then the next thing I remember, I was laying about 6 inches from my door, and I was hearing voices. And I was on my face, I was laying on my stomach, and I felt a lot of very hot sensations on my back. And when I finally figured out what was going on, all of my friends were using my body as a table, and they were sitting cross-legged on the floor with all their food spread out on my back, and were eating their Del Taco off my back. So, and I was too weak or stupid to get up and beat the shit out of all of them. But I was just what a night, Cinco de Mayo. So that's that. God, that was an awful story, now that I think about it. But yeah, so the end of everything, 4 days left, I think. And we're going to try to get to 1,000 today. That's the goal. Now, earlier I said that I would talk a little bit about what the plan is. Basically, the reason why the amount was 2,300 was because I have self-published books before. And when you get the paperbacks from Create Space or Amazon or Lulu or whatever, there's not a whole lot of choice when it comes to the paper used, when it comes to the cover stock they use. And usually if they give you any kind of choice with the cover stock, it's usually glossy or matte. And the matte that Amazon uses it's still very glossy, and it has a weird texture on your hands, and I don't like that. So, but the interior paper, for almost every place you look, you don't really get a choice for the pound, the thickness of the paper and stuff like that. So I really wanted to get nice paper, and I wanted an uncoated cover altogether, and little embellishments, like the books are going to be numbered, and just little things like that. So because if we don't meet this, what's going to end up happening is the books are still going to come out. They're just not going to be exactly what I was hoping for. They're still going to be amazing. They're still going to be a good read. Just the paper won't be what I wanted the paper to be. And the numbering will probably have to be hand numbered, which is fine. I don't mind that. So that's basically what the big change is going to be, if anything. And then the other thing is, most places you order through want you to have a minimum order of a certain amount. And between ordering the books and paying for the shipping, not to you guys, but to have them be shipped to me so I could sign them and do all that stuff, that was kind of pricey. And then the way Indiegogo works is that they reserve, I think it's 5%, might be 7%, I can't remember. Like, they take a cut, obviously, because they're a business that needs to keep afloat. But then they take a cut as a reserve in case there's any returns or anything like that. So that was how all of that worked. So the company I was going to go through, I don't know if I'll be able to get the same product for the amount of money going into it. So I'll have to kind of wrestle with them a little bit and see what kind of deal we could work out. But yeah, so that is the update, I guess, as far as Pendra. I do not know. I honestly don't know. I'm really bad at promoting myself. But if you, here, I'll type it in here. If you go to ihatemattwall.com, not like that, obviously, but YouTube doesn't like it when you put links in the chat. So if you go to ihatemattwall.com, I post stuff there fairly regularly, like 3 to 5 times a week. But yeah, so and again, this book is really about, it was mainly written in December. December was a very hard month for me. Like, actually the end of November through December. I hadn't had that hard of a, like, emotional, like, breakdown in years. But I don't know what it was, man. Just this winter really got me. And I guess I just felt like a disappointment to everybody. We had a lot of big plans for this year, and a lot of them, or for last year, and a lot of them didn't really work out. So it just really knocked me down a notch, I guess. And that was enough. That notch was enough to, like, put me into, like, danger zone. And the only thing that was helping me, like, not do something stupid was the writing. And I have, like, 4 poetry books on Amazon right now, along with, like, the novels and serials I was doing. And I would always, like, dip in and out of it. And now I feel like I'm so ingrained in it that just the thought of writing a novel or even a short story just seems ridiculous to me. Because a lot of times, and I know some of you are writers, when you're writing a short story and you're feeling really good about it and you already know where you're going to send it to or whatever, and you're writing it, and then you go, oh crap, I need 500 more words for them to accept this. Then you just go in and you're fluffing it up. And the thing I love about poetry is being able to tell whatever you want to tell, whatever story you want to tell, whatever feelings you have or whatever, but say it in the fewest amount of words possible. And that is very freeing, and I like that a lot. It's extremely helpful. And so instead of trying to arm wrestle the Amazon algorithms to death with the books I was writing, I would just rather write stuff that I like to write and feel good about writing when I'm writing it. And know that I could write like 3 or 4 or 10 in a night about all different things, and then tomorrow get up and write 5 or 6 more about something completely different. I don't need 50,000 words or 60,000 words to tell a story or convey an idea, and being able to do it in like 100 or 200 words, even less, you know, like, I know I do write longer stuff. I was trying the other day to see how short I could make something and have it still convey what I want it to say. And it was a good exercise, but I feel like I don't want to worry about form. I don't want to worry about the structure of what I'm doing. I just need to, like, vomit on the page, if that makes any sense. So that's what's going on with that. That was good. I enjoyed that. Oh, as far, I was going to ask you guys this too. Like, what are you guys reading right now? I have been reading a lot of poetry, obviously, since that's kind of what I'm into at the minute. But Zoe got this graphic novel the other day and read it and loved it. And she's like, you gotta read it, you're gonna totally love it. And so this is it. The Goon, A Bunch of Old Crap, Omnibus of Volume 1. This is really fun, really violent. It's got monsters and all sorts of crap in it. But it's also kind of heartbreaking at times. And it's really well done. And this Eric Powell guy, he really downplays it. Downplays the artwork in it, because it was like the first thing back from like the late 90s, and it's just a shame because I think it's great, and all of the whining about how crappy it is really off-putting. But the stuff itself is really good. Let's see, Pendra says, dang, a shame there are just Kindle versions available. Oh, there will be versions available of those individual things on my Etsy store once I get everything back up and running with the printer. I still have the next issue of Weird Mask to put out, and Enzine. But the story about those 4 books were, I wrote them, and then I never was going to like put them in a book. I was just writing poetry to write poetry. And we got a table at a zine fest a couple years ago, and we needed to have content for the table, and I had the first 3 issues of Weird Mask. What else did we have there? Oh, Zoe had her art zines, and then I think I had some like short story zines. So I'm like, you know what, let me put these poems together in books, and I could have those there too. So I made the books, we sold a bunch at the thing, and then I had them on Etsy for a while, sold a few there too, and then realized that I never went back to proofread any of them. And so it wasn't even that long ago I started going through them and just like reading them, because I had never read them since I wrote them. And I went through, and like every single poem had like misspelled words and all sorts of other stuff. So it was just kind of humiliating. And I'm not big on revision or revising or editing or whatever. But proofreading is something that should be done for sure. So I pulled all of the ones off of Etsy. I proofread the ebooks for Amazon, and I just haven't gotten around to printing any new copies yet. But I have a bunch of copies with errors throughout. Maybe I should make those special little incentives or something like that. But God, what a train wreck that was. As much as I love being a publisher, I'm really not that good at it. I really should just stick to writing. But honestly, putting a zine together is so much fun. Like, I just absolutely love it. But the whole proofreading stuff, I really need to get better at. Zoe, at one point, used to be like my go-to proofreader. Like, she read everything I wrote. And then it got to the point where I was writing stuff faster than she could, like, read it with an editor's eye. And so I felt bad, because it was like all she was doing was editing my stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. But now, looking back on it, I probably should have said just keep going with that. Pender says, I'm currently reading a poetry collection called Bury It by Sam Sachs. It's pretty good. I have not heard of Sam Sachs. Is that pretty current stuff? Like, I don't want to say modern, because modern is decades old, but like, is that a relatively new book? I've been getting really annoyed with modern, like, current year poetry. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but when you're in the zone and you're like just using words to paint pictures and stuff like that, you want to like eat other stuff that's like that. You get so excited, and you go out and you find stuff and you read it, and it's complete pap. It's utter shit. And it's just so upsetting. Oh, the mama iguana's over there. It's just so upsetting because, like, you see these books that are like the poetry bestsellers, which isn't really saying a lot, but the poetry bestsellers. And over the last couple years, a lot of the really upper echelon new poetry that's been put out have covers that just scream out to me, and titles that scream out to me and make me want to like just go and get them and look at them. And it's such crap. It's like just really bad shit. Like she's so beautiful, she's a queen, I love her and worship her like a flower in spring, or some, like, I don't know, I just made that up right now. It's some crappy pappy bullshit like that. And that's fine. Like, love poems are beautiful. But when, like, everything you say, like, you could go into a Barnes & Noble pre-COVID and pick up any poetry book and open it to any page and read, and it would be like 4 or 5 lines. You put that book down, pick up another book, and you're basically reading the same 4 or 5 lines. It's like the whole poetry audience right now just wants to hear I don't want to say victims, but like it's almost like they're banking on the fact that their readers have been victimized so they could relate to what their poetry is about and give them I don't know, like, make them feel empowered. And that's fine on paper, but when every single book is like that, it makes all the books less, if that makes any sense. Like, none of the books, when you read it, it seems like that any of these people, like, have experienced anything or lived anything. Let's see, Pender says, I love a lot of newer stuff, but also the really old ones, especially the romantics. Alfred Lord Tennyson is one of my favorites. I think the best poetry book I've ever read, oh, it's so big. Like, if you guys don't have, like, 2-foot long iguanas running in your front yard, you don't understand how odd it is. It's so weird. But one of the best poetry books I've ever read, and if you could find it, you could probably find it on Abe. I've seen it on eBay. I've seen it on Amazon. But it's a book called Skull Juices by Douglas Blasek. And it is the most real, heartwarming, oh man, I don't know. It's just, it was written in 1970, I think, or it was published in 1970. But I keep looking for a book that's that good, and I'm not finding it anywhere, and it's making me really upset to the point where, like, I almost want to just um, give up reading stuff, because I almost feel like the more stuff I read that is bad, the more bad habits I'm going to pick up. But I just want stuff to just be real. And, um, I mean, again, art is subjective. I just wrote something about this yesterday. But art is subjective. So, technically, me saying something's bad is very hypocritical. So, it's bad for me, but you might think it's the greatest thing ever. So, I would be a complete hypocrite to say anything bad about it, because art is subjective. So, it's just one of those things where you gotta really decide where you want to throw your hat, you know? And one of the reasons why I haven't been making a lot of booktube videos anymore is because I'm feeling very, I don't want to say self-conscious, but I'm feeling very weird about saying I don't like something. Because, like, who the fuck am I to not like something? You know, like, I might not like it, but it might be your favorite book, so who the fuck am I? And a lot of the stuff I've been reading lately, or trying to read lately, with the exception of just a few books, have been very subpar for me. So, I feel like now the only thing I want to do is, like with my booktube channel, is either focus more on author-tubey kind of stuff, or just talk about books that I really, really love. Because reading books that I don't like just to get through them so I can make a video for is just not something I want to do. It's really, like pushing me to madness a little bit. I think that honestly is why over the winter I was having such a hard time, because I was reading all these books and I thought they were just all crap. And again, some would say that might be depression, because when you're depressed, you have no interest in the things that usually interest you. And that could be true. But I also like to read. And if if I'm reading stuff that's pappy shit, I'm not going to want to finish it, whether I'm depressed or not. But anyway, so, boy, rant over. Sorry about that. You do you. Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, so anyway. Oh, and then the other thing with the book, I was really hoping that we could go over, like, I had a lot of stretch goals planned that I thought were going to be really cool. But we're so far away from that, like, that's not going to happen. But, right now there's like 34, I think, poems in the book. And, I was really wanting to even, like, double the size of the book. And, depending on what kind of deal I could get, I may be able to extend it, but I don't know how much. The fuck? So that's that. But yeah, so I'm honestly just really looking forward to the campaign being over. It's very stressful. And I'm not a fan of stress like this. So I'm really hoping we could get where we need to get to at least make a product that everybody's happy with. But honestly, like, I cannot wait till Friday. And another thing I was thinking about doing, let me know what you guys think about this, is like, in the evenings when I'm writing, doing a live stream there, and just like a writing stream, and like I'll have what I'm writing up on the screen, just like a little something something. So if that sounds like fun, and we could chat and drink a couple bottles of wine and have some fun, might be doing that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Cinco de Mayo, for fuck's sake. Who knows? The water guy still hasn't come yet, so that's a little upsetting. I'm sure he'll be here today. What else is going on? Is anything else happening right now besides Tarantula Wasps? Nope, I think that's it. God, those things get so big. I'm so not looking forward to when they're buzzing around. But you could hear them coming like a mile away, so that's kind of good. Alright, everybody. I think I'm going to call it. But the end of everything, Indiegogo. The link is in the description below. We're going to try to get to 1,000 today. I might be back on later tonight. And if you miss the stream, just check the channel tomorrow, and you'll see that. And I'll be back doing a live stream again tomorrow at sometime here. And we will see how it goes. So thank you everyone who's contributed, and I will talk to you guys soon.